Well, guys, we have finally heard official word about the Mithril cut of The Lord of the Rings, and it's not what you probably wanted to hear, but I think there's reason to hope that we might get what we really deserve. Now, in case you haven't heard, Empire Magazine is doing a big issue on The Lord of the Rings 25th anniversary. They have new interviews with folks, new photo shoot, a little bit for Hunt for Gollum. We've got some tidbits in there. So once this issue comes out of Empire, I'll probably be doing more videos like this because I think there'll be some interesting stuff in there. But this is a big one for me because I have been a very strong advocate that we needed a 25th anniversary edition of The Lord of the Rings to be released on home media. And in a way, Peter Jackson has kind of ruled out one bit that fans have clamored for. I haven't been as vocal about this particular element, and that is the Mithril cut. Now, to give you a bit of history, there are a number of scenes that we know were not used in the final film. I'm thinking things like Sauron killing Gil-galad, for example. We've seen a still of that. We've seen a still of what appears to be Faramir and Éowyn at their wedding. We've seen video footage of Gimli checking out some jewels and Legolas wandering through the wilderness, presumably Fangorn Forest. And these are moments, these latter few moments are epilogue moments, most likely. But Peter Jackson was asked about the Mithril cut, and here's what he had to say. Are there great scenes that we've never used? The answer is no. There are bits and pieces, I guess, but if you did an extended cut or whatever it will get called, it would be disappointing. It would be the extended cut with a few extra seconds of something here or there. It wouldn't be worthwhile doing. And then Philippa Boyens actually responded specifically to the scene that we've seen just a little sneak glimpse of, and that is a young Aragorn and Arwen in Lothlorien. And Philippa says there was that, it was in Lothlorien, but there's not a lot. There really isn't. So now where does this leave us? I mean, honestly, like I said, I'm not one who has necessarily been advocating for a longer cut of the films. I think the extended editions and even the theatrical editions are perfect as they are. And I do worry, there's things like pacing and things that come into play in films where it could throw things out of whack if you start adding too much back in. Now, real quick, I do think I might have coined the term Mithril cut. Just if I'm wrong and someone used that before me, feel free to let me know in the comments and I will take the L on that. But I released a petition. I started a petition online back in 2021, and I called it Release the Mithril Cut. And you have to keep in mind, this was back when like the Snyder Cut stuff was trending. And I was like, well, I don't really care so much about that, but I would love to see the deleted scenes of Lord of the Rings, so maybe this will get some attention this way. So seeing the Mithril Cut in an official publication, that's pretty neat. Now, if you go and look at that petition, what I'm making very clear, though, is what I'm really looking for and what I think fans deserve is a Mithril Edition. Now, the difference there is I'm not looking for these deleted scenes, and maybe they are just like little snippets like Peter Jackson is saying here. I don't necessarily want to see those edited back into the film because, like I said, it's already a finished, perfect film. These films are perfect as they are. No need to tinker with them 25 years later, even though I do think Peter Jackson mentioned the possibility of a 25th anniversary extended edition at Comic-Con when he was there for The Hobbit. But all that aside, I'm not necessarily looking for a extended edition of Lord of the Rings. What I just want to see those deleted scenes. And honestly, I would take those in any form. I've long said, just as a featurette, just like literal clips of raw footage, and that's it. Like, you don't even have to put commentary over it, Peter. I'm good with whatever, man. Like, I just want to see those clips, and I want to see like what was shot, if that's, what was shot for Aragorn and Arwen, and I want to see Gil-galad being killed by Sauron, especially. It's just so good. I want to see it. And I know what you're thinking. Hopes are dashed. We're never getting this Mithril edition, but I think there's a chance that we might, actually. So It goes on to say in this excerpt from the article, what might be possible is a Lord of the Rings mega documentary that Jackson hopes to make one day, claiming he has plenty of footage to pour over. The footage contains alternative takes, it contains bloopers, it contains a bit more of a sense of the mechanics of making the films, he teases. But to this day, I haven't persuaded the studio because obviously it's a big undertaking. And this, honestly, is music to my ears. Like this would be a perfect way for us to see those. I would love to hear the filmmakers talking about not only those scenes that were deleted, but the thought process of like, we cut this because of this, like something like, we see the storyboards of Sauron stabbing his hand with molten gold in it to create the One Ring. And they decided that was too violent for the very start of a movie that they're hoping to get rated PG-13. Stuff like that. I just love hearing that behind the scenes. And I would love to see those deleted scenes in that way. And in case you haven't been following the stuff that Peter Jackson has been up to over the last several years, he's been making some excellent documentaries. He did the Big Beatles documentary, and he also did They Shall Not Grow Old about World War I. So the idea of him revisiting The Lord of the Rings as a documentarian, yes, I am absolutely interested in that. And I think what we're seeing here and what's been hinted at in the past is I think this decision is going to come down ultimately to Warner Brothers and what they decide to do or not do. It's obviously going to take some resources for them to sign off on this and to create a new documentary, but gosh, I think the appetite is definitely there. And honestly, Lord of the Rings has the greatest history of behind the scenes. I mean, the appendices for Lord of the Rings and the appendices for The Hobbit, for that matter, are like going to film school. People have watched those and become filmmakers because of those. And we fans are just treated to this treasure trove, just this mind-blowing experience of seeing behind the curtain of what it took to make these films. And seriously, I mean, look at this thing. Just look at it. These are the gold standard of DVDs. Like back in the day, this was the greatest DVD release of all time. And that has not changed. Now, I know you're thinking, but Matt, times have changed. Like we don't do physical media anymore because we have streaming and blah, blah, blah. Well, for one thing, a documentary can also be streamed and be a big hit. Another thing is I've noticed a lot more chatter online in like the last year or so that physical media is actually on the rise again. And you think about it, like streaming has turned out to maybe not be all that it was cracked up to be, in the fact that now we have so many different services and we're paying so much. If you want to be able to watch all these different things, they're all so fragmented, also expensive. The prices are constantly going up. I mean, I have not regretted buying so many versions of these movies because I have them physically, and I have my 4K version, which I love. I will never get rid of these things because they're just so cool. They look like books, for crying out loud. They're so awesome. But I think people are starting to realize the merits of having physical media. These movies aren't just gonna disappear like, oh, they're leaving the streaming service soon, so you better watch them now and then you're SOL. So what better way to take advantage of the fact that people are more intrigued by home media than they have been in recent years than to revisit the gold standard of home media releases. The Middle-earth films and their special features are the absolute tip top of the mountain as far as home media releases go. So Warner Brothers has this IP, as they say, that has in its DNA the love and appreciation for both physical media and behind the scenes content. So what better way to honor that and to, frankly capitalize on that for Warner Brothers than to make a Mithril Edition. So let Peter do his awesome documentary. You can put that on the streaming service and give us a new physical edition. And I'm talking a big physical edition, guys. The extended editions of the movies. I'm talking the original appendices, even if they're just on DVD. Like, get us the ultimate. I mean, talking the ultimate. They've already used the term ultimate, so that's why this is the Mithril Edition folks. Mithril Edition, extended editions of the movies, appendices, Costa Botes documentaries that came out on the limited edition DVDs, and finally, give us this documentary from Peter Jackson. It's time, guys. I mean, this is the 25th anniversary of Fellowship of the Ring, so I really hoped that this some kind of commemorative 25th anniversary thing would be coming out this year, but honestly, we could do it for Return of the King. I mean, that was the culmination. That's the one that won all the Academy Awards. It's still like a little mini celebration in my house when a movie gets nominated for more than 11, and when they lose enough that they're not going to get 11, it's like the 72 Dolphins for sports fans. I celebrate a little bit. Like, woo! They're not going to pass Return of the King. That's right. But give us this. Give us this Mithril Edition. The time is now. I mean, if we go through the 25th anniversary of Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the King, and all we get from it is some cool magazines. Shout out to Empire. I love that they're doing this. I've already ordered my copy of the magazine, which is great. They're releasing the films again in theaters. That's great too. I want to get the MAP popcorn bucket. I don't need a popcorn bucket, but you can bet I'm going to get that MAP popcorn bucket, and then I will probably use it while watching the movies, and will point out where things are happening on the map as I'm watching the movies to other people. But if that's all we get, if we just get some nice article write-ups, some new interviews, and some re-releases in theaters, I feel like then Warner Bros. Just really dropped the ball, if that's the case. If we're looking back at the end of 2028, when it's the 25th anniversary of Return of the King, and that's all we've gotten, I feel like someone dropped the ball somewhere, guys. It's high time. Release the Mithril Edition. I'm not saying Mithril Cut. I'm not saying Mithril Cut. That's fine. That's fine. But give me those deleted scenes. Give me more documentary. Go crazy, Peter. Go crazy. I've said it so many times, but it bears repeating. The Lord of the Rings trilogy is the greatest trilogy of movies ever made. Period. And it deserves the greatest physical media release ever made. So make the awesome documentary and give us the Mithril Edition. That's what it's always been about. We don't need the Mithril Cut. We need the Mithril Edition. Well, there you go, guys. That's all I've got to say on this topic as of right now. I'm going to hop on a live, actually, in a few minutes to talk with the guys from theonering.net about this very topic. So I'll leave a link in the description. Check out that conversation, and we'll see you next time on Nerd of the Rings.